Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to another video. My lovely Wolfpack. Today we're going to talk about 3 scary unsolved mysteries. Roll the intro. Okay, but first, I have to remember, like, subscribe to my channel, follow me, everything in links in the description for my last video if you have not seen it. And I have been using end screens before, but I'm having trouble with them, so I'm just going to be not using them. So I'm sorry if you can't find the end screens, Let's do this. The first story we're going to talk about is the death of. First story we're going to talk about is the death of Elisa Lim. If you have not seen Elisa Lim or heard about her story, I'm going to be reading it to you today, and you'll see why it's terrifying. To this day, her mystery has never been solved. Elisa Lim was found dead in a water tank at the notorious Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles in 2013. To this day, nobody knows how she died or why her body was there. In 22 years plus of doing this job as a news reporter, this is one of those cases that kind of sticks with me because we know who, what, when, where, but the why is always the question. said NBC LA reporter Lara Lopez in reference to the mysterious death of Elisa Lim. To this day, nobody knows how exactly Elisa Lim died. We know that the 21-year-old Canadian college student was last seen in the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles, California. On January 31st, 2013, but the infamous Chili Hotel surveillance video that captured the bizarre final moments before her disappearance, let alone the other details that have emerged since, have only escalated more questions than answers. Ever since her body was discovered in the hotel's water tank on February 13th, 19, her tragic demise which remains surrounded in mystery. I know what you're thinking. She could have just walked up there. She could have just killed herself. Well, the thing is, if she would have killed herself, there would have been video evidence. There are hundreds of cameras all the way up to the roof. Not one has caught her image. Not one. And even if she somehow managed to get to the door, she would have to find another way to open it, because the only way to open the door would be get a key card, which only the employees have. And the final thing I should say is that there's no way she could have fit in the hatch on top of the water tank. The only way to get in is to physically, forcefully push someone in. And I will say that for, I think it was like weeks, no one even knew. No one knew where she was. The hotel's like, yo, you gotta either get out or pay another rent, and all her stuff was there. So they tried looking for her, and for a while, everybody in the hotel was like, yo, the water tastes funny, it smells funny, it's black, sometimes brown. And so they went up there thinking it's probably just some rust or something. And when they found it, that was her decomposing body in the water. Which kind of is gross because people were showering and drinking it. That's fucking disgusting. But it's still a sad case, so I'm sure that at some point in the future it'll be solved, but until then, it is in the cold. Coming up, number 2, The Boy in the Box. If you've not heard of The Boy in the Box, it's still a mystery that hasn't been solved to this day, and no one knows what happened. In late February of 1957, a young man was checking his muskrat traps in the Fox Case neighborhood of Philadelphia, Country, Pennsylvania, when he discovered the body of a young boy inside the box. Not wanting the authorities to confiscate his traps, so he didn't report the finding. A few days later, at 3:45 p.m. on February the 25th, 20-year-old Frederick J. Benson, a LA college student, claimed to be driving his car along whatever the fuck road when he saw the rabbit dash into the nearby thicket. Knowing there were animal traps in the area, he pulled over and went to the wood area where he too came across the body. The child had been wrapped in a blanket before being placed in the box, and his head and shoulder were sticking out of it. According to Benson, he believed the body to be a doll, basically. So he didn't contact police of the discovery. The next day, Benson was listening to the radio when he discovered. He heard a report about a missing 4-year-old girl. Believing he'd seen the previous day, he related. He contacted the police when asked why he'd waited a day to report the discovery. He said he'd been spying on students in the nearby Good Shepherd school and didn't want the authorities to know why he was actually in the area. Unfortunately, the child in the box was not a missing girl who was found deceased a week later in the vacant home where she'd wandered to and died of starvation. The area where the unidentified child was found located in the 700 block whatever road near Vera Road and Pennypack Park is what I meant. Within northeast Pennsylvania. The body was examined upon being brought into the medical examiner office, where numerous things were noted. The first was that John Doe had appeared to have died as a result of blood force trauma, as there were 4 round-shaped bruises on the forehead and his face was blood-drained. This appeared to have been an extinction of what looked like years of abuse, as there were bruises all over his body. His lips were dry and bloody. His body was examined and that his ribs were showing through his skin. Despite the amount of abuse he'd likely suffered, John Doe had experienced any broken bones or deformities. So, another thing I want to say is that to this day, this mystery has never been solved, and it might not ever be solved. But the fact is, they've tried their hardest, and that was in 57, and it is 2021. It still hasn't been solved. People have tried. People have noticed he was dressed up like a girl, so they first drawed a little boy, and then they drawed a little girl. Both cases, that didn't help. So a nearby artist who is well known for sculpting, he decided, hey, what if I decide to make a 3D sculpture of what the kid's father would look like, which he did. Yet again, didn't help anything. They didn't really have any DNA shit. Like, they couldn't just take some blood and run it through a system back then. They tried fingerprints, which, by the way, the fingers were damaged, so they couldn't even get decent fingerprints to do anything with. So, of course, the process for fingerprints back then were different how they are now. But anyways, so no one knows who that boy was. And to this day, it's never been solved. They eventually buried the little boy, and no one knew his name. They just gave him one. I don't remember the name of it, so we'll just call it the name Phil for now. No one has come up to say they're the parents. Now, of course, there really was... Stupid computer. There was a couple people who claimed to be the parents, but when they were talked about, they were interrogated or whatever the fuck, interviewed, they they actually had some lies in their stories. So each person who claimed to be the real mother and or father was actually denied and actually proven to be fake. They lied just to get into the mystery. I assume for famous or publicity or some shit. Stupid. And now, the last story we're going to be talking about is the death of Kanika Jenkins. If you've not heard of her, her story is so fucking creepy and so terrifying and so mysterious that it has split the internet in half. Let's say this side thing, half of it, the internet says, hey, this is just a suicide, or this is just an accident, like the police say. And the other half, including me, think it is a murder. So I'm going to read the story, and then I'm going to share some facts to share it with you so you know what I'm talking about. 19-year-old Kanika Jenkins was found dead inside a latched freezer of the Crown Plaza Chicago HO Hotel in Rosemont, Illinois, after attending a party there on September 8th, 2017. The medical examiner reported found Jenkins' death to be accidental. Alcohol and I'm gonna try to say this as best as I can. Turbamate, whatever the fuck. I assume that's a drug. Found in her system, were thought to have. I'm gonna edit this a lot. Hinted the effects of hypothermia. By Kanika Jenkins remaining inside the freezer. While the Rosemont Police Department did not suspect foul play, they stated that their investigation was complete. Jenkins' family, friends, citizens, and potential police response, and a lawsuit was subsequently filed against the hotel and others. Okay. So, I'm going to give you a little details that were not in that story. A couple reasons. One, she may have been drunk and high at the same time, but the fact is, the freezer she was in is an industrial freezer that hotels use. They use it to hold their meat and their food so it doesn't go bad. However, even if the freezer was locked accidentally, she couldn't get out, these freezers have a button that when you press, it unlocks it and opens it. That way, if you get stuck, they have a safety measure so you can get out so you don't die. But yet, she stayed in there. Even if you're drunk and high, or both, you can literally still see it and press it. It's not that hard, but yet she refused to get out. In the security camera footage, you can see that she's either drunk or high or both. She's wobbling and stuff, so you can easily tell. On top of that, a few minutes after her death, which the police actually obtained the footage, and a few minutes after, they found out what time she died. And a few minutes after her death, they saw a man who is like a custodian with one of those wagons with a built-in trash can. Well, that custodian was walking away from the crime scene with an empty trash. Didn't even have a trash bag in it. And if you go before her death, a few minutes after she walked up the hallway, you'll see a man, the same exact custodian, pushing a cart with a black trash bag in it. And why is this so important to the case? Well, next to her body, a piece of plastic was found next to her. If you look at it, it is a black trash bag. It's a strip of black trash bag, which the cops seem to be like, oh, he's not, the custodian's nothing, it's nothing. But yet, a lot of people, including myself, think it is. These police officers deny it being homicide, but it's clearly homicide. This place has not been solved. I don't even know what to say to this. People think, including her parents, that think that this is a cover-up, which makes sense. Now, why did she get killed? A lot of people think, including big YouTubers, they think that someone killed her for her organs, because in this hotel is a pretty big hotspot for organ trafficking, which is when they drug you, you steal your organs, and if you're lucky to survive, they'll always leave you a note that says call the ambulance if you want, and if you try to call the police, you'll die, or something along those lines. And they take your kidney, or your liver, or whatever organ they want to put on the black market, which is illegal. Well, thank you guys for watching my scary video. I hope you like these unsolved mysteries. Links in the description for my last video if you have not seen it. And I want to thank all my members of my wolf pack for joining our family and making it grow bigger. Thank you so much, and goodbye.